Good morning and welcome to Off the Rim, the weekly look at what's going on in our area and the people who are making those things happen. My name is Nancy Stoffer. I'm your host. And today I have with me, every once in a while, I will meet a student here at Fort Lewis College who, from the moment they land on campus, they start creating. Very dynamic students have come through this campus, and one of them is sitting with me in the studios today. Michaela Steiner is a sophomore in gender and women's studies, and she is here because she is the president, leader, visionary of DIvest FLC Now. Welcome, Michaela.
Thank you, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so good to have you. You have been working on DIvest FLC Now, which is what we're going to be talking about. You do a lot of other things around here as well, including something else that's coming up for Women's History Month. This will be the second year of Ecofeminist Lenses, and maybe we might have a little bit of time to talk about that too. But I want to start with DIvest FLC Now. Michaela, what is it?
DIvest FLC Now is a student movement happening at Fort Lewis College, as well as over 500 institutions globally. And the purpose is to divest the institution from the investments in fossil fuel corporations within 5 years. So we have approximately $150,000 invested in 6 different corporations, and we are looking to have the FLC Foundation divest.
So is this based... when I was in school, we were working on trying to divest from apartheid, anything having to do with South Africa, any investments in South Africa. Is it similar to that movement?
Yes.
That kind of movement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually inspired by the apartheid divestment movement and is based off of the same model. So divestment is a model that's been used for apartheid, tobacco, different industries that could be considered unethical.
And why did you find it important for us to be doing this here? What sparked your interest?
I have a passion for environmental activism and for the health of ecosystems, and I noticed that there's a lot of momentum gaining nationally and globally on this particular movement, and yet it wasn't happening at Fort Lewis. And we claim to be an extremely sustainable, environmentally conscious campus, yet we're still investing and thus giving a thumbs up and a sign of support to these fossil fuel corporations that are wreaking havoc for generations to come. And so it just seemed important that somebody take this on, and I decided to take this on as a project, and it's gained a lot of momentum and gone really well so far.
Have you had any resistance?
I have had some resistance. I'm not surprised. I feel like all social change movements that are worth something will have at least some opposition to them. The main concerns over this have been regarding funding for research, funding from fossil fuel corporations, which this particular movement would actually not affect because we're not divesting, we're not choosing to not receive funds from them anymore. We're just pulling out of the investments we have in them. So it wouldn't affect any money that we're receiving from corporations, just money that we are essentially not giving to them, but investing in them. And then I've received a bit of resistance from people who have said that this is not actually a possibility, though I believe that if we try on this, it definitely is.
So which part is not a possibility? To divest or to actually make a change away from fossil fuels?
More to divest. I have talked to, and I would like to just put out there that the faculty and staff at Fort Lewis College have in general been extremely supportive and a wonderful part of this movement, though I have received some feedback from professors that they don't think that this is really a possibility. Divesting is a really huge step that the college would be taking.
Now, have you done the research, or has the larger national group done research on how much of an impact financially it would have on institutions like this, or this institution in particular? Like will divesting in investment in fossil fuels have an impact on the economic solvency of this college?
So regarding the economic solvency and how it would impact Fort Lewis College, the way that we are proposing this to the foundation shows little to no financial harm for a variety of reasons. For one, we're only asking them to divest from 1% of their entire endowment within 5 years. So they really don't have very much invested in fossil fuel corporations. The foundation is actually doing quite well, though they could definitely not be investing in fossil fuel corporations at all. So proposing a timeline where they could gradually divest and replace it with, it would be my hope to replace it with an SRI, or socially responsible investment. These are investments that have a checklist to them. For example, tobacco companies can't be considered in them. Fossil fuel companies cannot be considered in SRIs, but there are a lot of great SRI funds that get great return rates. And, if an investment isn't doing well, it happens all the time. The money managers pull out of these investments and invest in something that's really valuable and worth it. And at this point, it looks like the global demand for energy is going up, especially since the middle class in China and India is increasing. Yet our fossil fuel reserves are decreasing at a steady rate. And so we really don't have adequate supply of fossil fuels to continue to be investing in them. And they're not the smartest choice long term. They might be doing well right now at a short-term level, but ultimately this will probably benefit Fort Lewis College from a financial standpoint. And there's been research on how SRI portfolios can tend to do as good or better as portfolios that have fossil fuels incorporated within them.
And SRIs also look at the way that the social justice aspect of it, the way that the workers are treated, as well as a lot of other aspects. Not just damage done to the environment.
Right. The environment is just one consideration and one checklist that you kind of have to go through to be considered a socially responsible company or corporation. And social justice is considered, as well as environmental factors, and a lot of other factors involved with the consideration.
So that's been, faculty and staff has been, for the most part, open to what you're doing. What about the student population here? What's your reception been from them?
So the students have been extremely supportive in general. Just within 4 to 5 months, we've been able to gain over 1,000 student petition signatures really easily. Students are very supportive of this. And because of student support, we've gotten a lot of people to go and speak at Board of Trustees meetings. We've gotten a Student Senate resolution passed in support of divestment, as well as a Faculty Senate resolution. So both faculty and students are really on board. And right now, it's basically up to the foundation to decide where this will go. But we're going to keep getting petition signatures from students and rallying the support there, and hoping that the foundation will listen to the faculty and students on this issue.
So the FLC Foundation is a different board that creates monies to be used by the general college, but is not directly under, for instance, the president of the college or the board of trustees of the college. They're a separate entity. So have you talked with them yet in terms of this divestment issue?
Yeah, so we have been in communication with the foundation, which is actually how we found out all about the portfolio information, is we had to be in contact with them. They're completely aware of what we're doing. At the beginning of last semester, students voted fossil fuel divestment as the most innovative idea for the academic term. And this granted us access to be able to speak with the foundation, to present at a cabinet meeting, and to set up an appointment to do a presentation on fossil fuel divestment to the Foundation Investment Committee. And we are presenting this on Wednesday. And so we've been in communication with them. We have a really important organizer who's been really working extremely hard on this movement, who basically, his name's Lionel Giacomo. He does all of the work with the foundation and communicates with them directly. And he's been meeting with Bob Hill, who is the chair of the investment committee in the foundation. He's been speaking with Margie Dean Gray, who's an important figure within the foundation. And they have, in general, been really nice and receptive. And so we really look forward to educating them further on this issue and giving a more extended presentation. And hope that they listen to us.
So on Wednesday, you will be meeting with the Foundation Investment Committee. They will then make a recommendation to the Foundation Board.
Right.
If all goes well, divestment FLC will have scored a victory, and Fort Lewis College will no longer be invested in fossil fuels. When would that be enacted? I mean, if all goes the way that you would like it to.
Right. So essentially, if the board votes to divest Fort Lewis College from fossil fuels, they will be making a pledge to make this divestment within a certain amount of time. They would probably make that determination. The faculty senate and the student senate voted on 2 years. So they actually voted for less than we were originally proposing. That's what they really wanted. They wanted 2 years. We are proposing 5 years to the foundation, since that's generally what the proposal has been at most institutions. But really, it will probably be up to the money managers. And the money managers are professionals. They really know what they're doing. They're really good at their job. They've been doing financial work for a really long time. And I would be so surprised if they would do something that would financially harm the college. It's in their job description to, make sure that the college is on track with finances.
So this is a nationwide movement. How much have you been involved with the other chapters around the country?
Right. So this is a nationwide movement as well as a global movement, which is extremely exciting. It's going on in a lot of other countries, not just the United States. And I have been working with the Southwest Coordinator for Fossil Free, and connecting to a variety of different movements around the country. I worked a lot this past summer on protesting tar sands. And so I was able to connect with a lot of folks who were working on this issue at other colleges. Fossil Free is under the umbrella of 350.org, so that's the parent organization. And then there's a variety of organizers working under that. I recently applied with a couple fellow members of the Student Senate to the Clinton Global Initiatives, which is a national conference that looks at a variety of initiatives that are being proposed by youth, such as climate change, social justice, animal rights. The list can go on. And we decided to apply with a variety of colleges for Divest America. So broadening the scope to basically bring this, it already is at a national level, a conversation, but really having national and global leaders be able to discuss divestment with student leaders is going to be really amazing. And this will be happening over spring break. So that's my involvement with the national movement.
On February 20th, coming up in in Noble Hall at 6:30. You have a divestment watch party, a divestment convention watch party. What's that about?
So we recently, FLC Divest Now, while the Foundation Board of while the Fort Lewis College Board of Directors or Board of Trustees doesn't make the final decision on divestment, we decided to go to the last Board of Trustees meeting and each individually make an open comment. And there were about 18 students there speaking in favor of fossil fuel divestment. Mm-hmm. And it made a really positive impact, I feel, on the Fort Lewis College Board of Trustees. They have a foundation liaison on the board, so they communicate directly with the foundation. They're very influential at this college. Their power here should not be underestimated, I feel. And they definitely are an influencer in this campaign here at the college. So they really reacted positively to our messaging. It was very positive messaging. And we did take some videos of students speaking and some photos, and sent that to the Southwest coordinator. And she's just featuring work that is happening across the country nationally, and highlights at these different campuses. And the work that we're doing at Fort Lewis College will be highlighted at that convention. And so it's being broadcasted over the internet, and just going to project it on the screen, bring some potluck food, and just enjoy watching this and seeing what other campuses are doing with involved students.
Yeah, the internet has definitely changed the way that protest and social justice movements have been taking place. You also have on March 23rd at 11 a.m. in the Cascade Room. What's happening there?
On that date, we are doing a celebration potluck to just celebrate the current successes that we've had on this campaign so far. Primarily, reaching our goal of getting over 1,000 student petition signatures has been something that we've been striving for the entire semester. So it's just a celebration, as well as an introduction for students who want to get involved but maybe don't know enough to feel that they can get involved. And it's just a way for students to learn about fossil fuel divestment and get involved if they would like to, and enjoy some food.
So maybe at that time you'll be celebrating the foundation agreeing to divest and the movement forward, and you can create new avenues of social justice work.
Yeah, that would be the ideal goal. Is that really, it would be really exciting if they came out with a definite statement of where they stand. And so hopefully that will be yes, that they would like to move forward with this, and we really should just, I think, be celebrating all the hard work that students have been doing on this campaign.
I'd also like to mention April 10th. You're bringing a film on April 10th at 7 Noble 125?
Yeah. Yeah, so that film is called What a Way to Go, and it's a film about kind of where our society is heading in this global age and what we can do about it. So it's really solution-based film, really thought-provoking, and is really focuses a lot on fossil fuels, so it's really educational as well. A really fascinating documentary.
And all of these events that you're talking about are free and open to people who are not just Fort Lewis College students, faculty, or staff, but to the whole community, right?
Yeah, these events are open to everyone, whether people are familiar with these types of issues, just want to learn more, already super involved. Everybody's welcome to attend.
Yeah, and I also wanted to touch real lightly, we just have a second, upon EcoFem lenses that you're doing in March as well. Could you talk about that just real quickly?
Yeah, so EcoFem Lenses is a student panel that happens annually in honor of Women's History Month, and it's comprised of students who either identify as environmentalist, feminist, or ecofeminist, and it looks at the connections between movements of environmentalism and feminism, and gives students a chance to speak their voice and opinions on a variety of really broad issues that are affecting us today.
And this is your second year of doing it. Last year, the whole place was packed.
Yeah.
It was very well attended and inspirational, I think, to a lot of the attendees. Yeah, and that's going to be in the Vice Cedar Room again?
Yep, in the Vice Cedar Room, March 11th at 7 p.m.
Great.
And hoping to get it packed again. That would be great.
Michaela, thank you for all of your enthusiasm and your hard work on this campus for the good of all of us and for the good of the earth. I really appreciate the work you do. And I know that you're going to be away. You're going to go to Flagstaff on a student exchange next year, but you will be back for your senior year. And I'm sure shaking and making things happen then, too. Thanks so much.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
And we're going to switch gears real quickly. There's so much that goes on at Fort Lewis College that I wanted to give Elizabeth Roberts a chance to come in and talk a little bit about SkyFest, which is SkyFest 2014, which is coming up this Saturday. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So this is not so much FLC divesting as FLC investing.
Yes.
In a whole lot of fun, it sounds like. What's going on this year? This is the 10th?
Yes, this is our 10th year of hosting a student-planned, organized, and run music festival. This year we have a bunch of student bands. We have 8 different students with all sorts of musical talent. We even have a juggler. And then our big headliner this year, we usually try and bring 1 or 2, is Boombox. And so the students are really excited about that.
Okay, so when you say it's Boombox, you probably don't mean just a huge, giant boombox.
No.
It's going to be sitting there playing music from KDUR or something.
No, it's actually a duo, and they have a really neat style. They are kind of like a house band with some really great beats, and they've got some high-energy stuff, some mellow music, so it's going to be a really neat experience.
And you said you even had a juggler?
We do. We have a student. He's a Japanese exchange student. His name's Taiga, and the students held auditions for all of these different student bands, and we're looking for MCs and just kind of acts that we can showcase to show all the talented students here. And he showed up, and so he's going to be doing a juggling routine right before the headliner goes on. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's great. So what other student groups? I noticed Liver Down the River is one of them. That's a student group. It
is a student group. These are all, we have 8 student bands. So Liver Down the River is, they call themselves like, they've got a wild category. It's bluegrass, country, rock, pirate music. So they do a little bit of everything. They've got a mandolin, a violinist, a beautiful singer, a banjo player, bass player. It's a neat group.
Mm-hmm. And what other kind of musics do you have going on?
We have a hip hop rapper, and he's mixed with some DJs called Intelligence. We have a banjo player. We have a singer-songwriter, Delaney Davis. She has a really beautiful voice, and so our student talent is really amazing on this campus.
You had tryouts for this?
We did.
How many of the groups that tried out made it, and how many didn't?
You know, I think we had about 12 or 13 students try out, and we were originally just going to choose 3, but they were so great. We really wanted to showcase more of our student talent, so we ended up choosing 8 student bands.
8 students, the bands, that's pretty impressive. So what time does this start?
This starts at 2:00 p.m. this Saturday in the Whalen Gym, and then our headliner will go on at 9:00. And what's really neat about this whole festival is that the sound and the lights production that the students have put into it is going to be amazing. It's going to sound great. The light show is going to be really awesome. We had to ship light boards and LED boards from all over the place just to come up to Fort Lewis College for this show.
And who's doing that? Is that a student as well?
It's not. No, we hired an outside vendor for that. But the students are really neat. They're going to be able to work with that vendor and kind of learn the ropes. That's all about what this group does. Is they're into planning events, and music festivals are a huge interest on campus. So they get to see the behind the scenes of, we'll do everything ourselves. We'll tarp the gym floor, we'll set up the stage, set up the pipe and drape, lug in the sound. We let the professionals set up the soundboard, but the students get to run it. So it's a really neat experience for them.
Do they get an idea about all the paperwork that goes into it too, and the fundraising and how much and
They
whatnot?
do. As an advisor, one of my things is helping students learn and grow, and a lot of them want to do this for a career. So I always give them I give them the band's contracts, which this year it was like 30 pages, and they're always long. But it's really nice because I let the students sit down and work through it. We work through it together, and then they learn a lot. They understand all the paperwork, and it's so funny because, you never think of all the things that go into it. So it's really nice for them to see how big of an event this is. And by doing the paperwork, I think they really kind of get a grasp of, oh my gosh, we have to know line by line what these artists are expecting when they get here.
Mm-hmm. And an understanding too of like security issues and all of the backstage stuff that goes on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the backstage part of it and the whole setup is the neatest part of the festival, because that's the part that we work so hard on, and then we're so busy we sometimes don't get to enjoy it. But it's so rewarding. We just released our headliner this week, and we had a girl walking down. She's like, oh my gosh, Boombox is here, and was jumping up and down, and it just feels so good to be a part of something that brings so much joy to people. So we're busy, but we know that others are going to enjoy it.
So this event, this whole Saturday, it's free for students. What about community members who are listening, who are jumping up and down about Boombox as well?
Yeah, we would love it if the community could come up and see this amazing show that the students have worked hard to bring here. It's $10 for general public, and that gets you in all day. Our doors are going to shut down at 9:30, so everyone come up here before then. And that's just a security measure. But yeah, they're welcome to come and go as they please, and stop in and enjoy the festival.
That's wonderful. Now, SUP does a whole lot of other events as well.
Yes.
Are there any that you'd like to tell us about
Sure.
in this last minute or so?
Yeah,
that
no
are coming up?
problem. Monday, we actually have a really funny comedian coming. Her name is Jessie Campbell, and she's represented with Summit Comedy. So she'll be here at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Viacito room, and that's free for anyone who wants to join us. So come up and join us for that. We do our weekly movies at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And check our FLC calendar to see which
Tomorrow
movies
night's
are.
Gravity, I think.
I
isn't
believe
it?
so, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. And then coming up in March and April, we've got a bunch of comedians and some magicians. And again, it's all free to students and public. So check out
Well, I
our
know
Facebook page.
Gina Brillion
Yes.
is coming as part of Women's History Month as well. I'm familiar with, and she's super funny.
Yeah, I'm really excited for her to be here. She's an awesome female comedian that she's funny, and she doesn't degrade women. It's just really powerful, and it's a strong message. So I'm excited.
Yeah, great. Well, Elizabeth, thanks for sharing this and for leading the way. It's a great group of students I've noticed working with SUP this year, and I've been really impressed by the high quality, the high level of entertainment you all have been bringing. It seems very thoughtful. I mean, I've been around this campus for a very long time, and I know that it's not always been completely impressive to me, but it is this year. So well done.
Thank you.
To
They
you
work
and,
hard.
and the students.
They
too.
do. They work really hard.
Yeah. And if there's any information that you want about SkyFest, you can call up here to SUP and find out more, or go on the website. Can you give that information out real quick?
Sure. Our website, our Facebook page is facebook.com/FLC for Fort Lewis College, and then SUP for Student Union Productions.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Elizabeth. And thank you all for listening today to Off the Rim. My guests, once again, Elizabeth Roberts with Student Union Productions, and also Michaela Steiner with DIvest FLC Now. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week on Off the Rim.